Hey up. Hey up, hey up, hey up.
Hey there folks, welcome to the Truly Unplugged podcast. My name is Daniel, and in a world that often feels like technology is evolving 24/7, sometimes you just need to slow down the pace, get rid of all that tech jargon, and really just have a human conversation about how we can use technology to make our working lives better. Well, today I'm delighted to say for episode 2 we have our Chief Technical Officer Matt Kiernan with us in the studio. Welcome to the studio.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Just firstly, how's the job going? How are you? What's been going on this week? Let's just go with that.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's been like every week's. It's a mix of different things. It's great. We launched platform, like just the first initial launch of that, but that's been really exciting. People will hear a lot more about that in the sort of coming months for sure. Yes, so that's been good.
It's been a pretty rapid year, like a crazy year. Lots going on. What would you say has been your highlight so far this year for you?
Getting back in touch with customers, hearing their sort of pains, their challenges, working with them on that sort of more directly. I think that's probably been kind of broad highlight. There's been lots of specifics obviously in there, but yeah, I think that's probably.
No, that's
probably
great.
One, yeah.
And I guess that's been really important then for your role, Chief Technical Officer. And firstly, what does that title even mean?
We have an engineering team as we're developing our own platform, particularly around TrulyFIT, as a way for people to be able to kind of track their progress, be able to understand what we offer, make bookings with us, get knowledge, get support, all that type of thing. I still talk to prospects and help out on the sales point of view as well, where talking to potentially new customers. Still love doing that. That doesn't just be left to the sales or account management team. I still get involved in lots of areas.
Well, let's talk a bit more about then your role and I guess the ideas and really the kind of uniqueness of what TrulySMB is doing is largely kind of built around this idea of the concept TrulyFIT.
Yeah.
So we had Amanda from Hello People on our first podcast a couple of weeks ago, and she really gave us a good indication of just kind of how the sort of workouts, courses, this kind of training sort of linked to sort of like physical exercise approach has really helped her keep on top of the speed at which technology is moving, particularly around some of the AI and Copilot stuff.
Yeah.
So, layman's terms, talk to me
cool.
like I'm an idiot, if you're not already. Fine, describe to me TrulyFIT.
Yeah, cool. So TrulyFIT is our offering for continuous progression with tech, yeah? We want to help businesses like truly adopt technology, not just do one training session. Oh, tick. We've done an AI training session, so I assume we'll be good. With how to use AI in our organisation, we want to help businesses actually adopt it. Yeah, and what we find, I'm already going off piece, so apologies.
No.
What we find a lot of the time is, even if a business or an organisation might have done something in a particular area, often it gets siloed. It's often, maybe it's just an IT manager, or maybe it's just in the finance team, whatever it might be. And it hasn't really permeated across the business. And that's really one of our sort of reasons for being. We want to help businesses do that and like adopt it so you think, oh, we are using AI, or we have got, better reporting dashboards across the business, or we're doing more process automation now in these different teams in these areas. And so TrulyFIT, the reason it's called TrulyFIT is, as you say, we've gone with a fitness analogy because I think tech for organisations, it's a bit like fitness in the sense that most people know it's the right thing to do, and I probably need to do more with this. But you do need some of that support. Someone a bit like we sort of talk about like being a tech personal trainer almost, in that sense that there's someone who's gonna hold you accountable, keep nudging you on, how you getting on with this. It's not just one and done training. yes, training's part of it. Of course it is. But it's more about we'll help people find their use cases. We'll give them some time to actually try that in the real world, what makes an impact, and we'll come back. Yeah, we'll bring people together. We'll facilitate those discussions, bringing their teams together. And it's all that stuff which, let's face it, in business as usual, everyone else has got, they're running their own businesses. That's the stuff which is really hard to kind of get that traction on. So we want to help people do, yeah?
I guess part of it is as well also having someone there to remind you or let you know and realise that you are doing a good job. Say you go to the gym for a bit, right, and then you're like a couple of months in, you look in the mirror, you're like, oh, actually, someone's actually
we kind of want to
paying off a bit here.
Yeah,
because the world is so, particularly, I mean, for small business, and there's so much on their mind, it's keeping on top of this stuff. It's like, you're not just doing it for the sake of it, actually, it's like also recognising, oh, Christ, yeah, we have actually saved, money here. We have done this.
Absolutely. And, just to kind of go sort of to the start of, I suppose, of how TrulyFIT works, so a little explainer obviously about TrulyFIT, but how it works. We start off, we want people to get what we call the TrulyFIT Score, which is their sort of scoring across different tech areas, yeah? So they can physically see, it's like that's their sort of benchmark, where at a baseline I am now. Just like, for example, if you were to do personal training, you would do the same sort of type of things, understand sort of where you're at, because those are going to be some of the markers that, you might look back on in a year and think, okay, actually, no, we've improved in all these areas. So getting the scores is great. We'll then do a discovery, complete free. We do that with anyone who takes their score. So if anyone is watching this, go get your score, we'll do a discovery session together, it's great. But the discoveries, I love doing them. Because you just get to talk to people about their, some of their pain points, their challenges, but most importantly, what's priority to them. Let's understand what your priorities are. So we kind of help talk about those things together, and then we'll introduce them to TrulyFIT. And TrulyFIT is, we've got a whole sort of catalogue of different workouts, and those workouts, they are sets of sessions, yeah? So it's not just a one thing, I know I keep saying that, but it's not just a one and done thing. Each workout, it's usually 3 or 4 sessions, space in between, so it's not just dominating your time, it's gives people, it's realistic that people can do these things. But we come back, make sure that we're actually, things are making impact, they're finding value with that. And that might be AI, that might be, we want to do a Power BI workshop because they want to get started with KPIs and dashboarding, or it might be we're doing SharePoint best practice workshops because SharePoint's not in the best state, or maybe they want to migrate. So all sorts of different things. And what's really lovely about it is that every time we do one of the discoveries, you've got the priorities, but then we can just provide a bit of a roadmap, really, to say okay, these workouts hit those pain points. And so it basically becomes a bit of an IT strategy.
Yeah.
And so for sort of small businesses, who might not have, in-house IT directors or IT teams or whatever, being able to just kind of provide a strategy like that to say, okay, we've discussed these are all your challenges, and here is your sort of roadmap of, we think these workouts done like this you are gonna make some real gains with those over the the course of 6, 12 months, whatever it might be. Little and often, it's not some big thing. And probably the last thing to say is that any of the workouts on there, we do them as a one-off, so you can people can buy them individually if they want to, but we do workout plans as well to make it super accessible. It's not some big high bar from a cost point of view. It is, you can get going with this stuff. On monthly fees, it's all spread out, but we'll be there coaching you on, helping make progress, so that, just like you said, you look back in 6 months, you look back in 12 months, and you go, wow, we're using AI. We've got agents now in some of our teams, and we've got Power BI dashboards that we're using, or SharePoint's in a better place, or now we're getting the most from M365. This goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Whatever it is for that business. But it's like working together, just little and often, it's amazing what you can achieve. And you can probably tell when I'm talking about it, like, I'm passionate about it because my background's been in delivery for 15 years, and I've seen how sort of just training's not enough. You need somebody who's going to give that.
I love the word you use there, strategy, isn't it?
Yeah,
And that's what
absolutely.
kind of, I guess, if you maybe compare perhaps what Truly is trying to do compared to like a managed service provider, they'll provide those tools and they'll probably provide some assistance on the way, right?
Maybe.
But this is really us getting into their head. What do you want out of it? And it is like, like I've been going to the gym a bit recently, right? But I have had some, I have had, so the odd like personal training session, and often it's quite expensive, but actually, what I've now done is just I'll like cut that down to once every couple of months.
Yeah.
So even knowing I've got to see him in 2 months' time and having that plan, it's like that's it. Yeah. So it's totally worth that money,
completely.
And it kicks me into gear. One honestly, month out, I'm like, well, I need to impress this guy,
Yeah. But it is just like in the winter when I should go for a run maybe, but it's a bit wet, it's a bit cold. The chance of you doing that, if you've got a personal trainer, or even if you've just got an accountability partner, like a friend or whatever you're doing it with, the chance of you actually being like, no, I'm going to go turn up, even if I don't feel like it, even if maybe it don't feel like the right time, like dramatically increase when you have someone there helping you do that. And let's face it, we all know when you do it, you feel great afterwards, yeah? And it is that thing, it was the right decision to do it, even if before I didn't feel like I had the time, whatever. And it is so akin to sort of technology in organisations.
I guess the question for you though is, do you sometimes, you and the teams here, do you sometimes have to, play the tough love card? How are you? Because if it is that, Wednesday night, and you've got, one of our customers who's like, busy with everything else. It's like.
And look, that's a great question.
Yeah, like how do you balance that with obviously, being our very respected customers who don't want to push them too much?
Yeah, no, completely. And first thing to say on that, the single biggest reason why sort of tech adoption fails is people don't use it. Without question. It's like you can do a training session, but if you do nothing else and you just kind of pop back, in a month or two's time, is that how people are getting on? A lot of the time it's, we haven't really used it yet, And so that is definitely a thing. And we are acutely aware people have got their business as usual, which is why we try to make the sessions are, short. It's not an all-day affair. It's not a half day, especially their sort of impact sessions where we kind of try to, bring people together. They're an hour long, those ones where those kind of check-ins. And it's, sometimes you do need to get people to book them in, just be like, just sending a nudge, I'm just doing my part. This is part of why we're here, is to help you do it. I think most people I'll get it in, I'll get it in.
Yeah.
And but as you said, like that's a key part to sort of why having someone from the outside is useful, because without that, things just sort of roll on. You realise it's been 3 or 4 months since we've done whatever, and we haven't actually made any. It hasn't made any impact on
and then
business.
People have been like, why are we paying for this service, or this IT support? But actually, it's you're paying to be kept on, to be pushed.
Exactly. We do want to nudge people. We do want people to be making continuous incremental gains. It's like is the thing, because I have this sort of thing about the word digital transformation, so we've intentionally not called anything like that, but you hear that a lot. A lot of people kind of talk around like, oh, it's digital transformation or whatever. But my problem with that is, what does that mean? To a small bit. If I'm on the receiving end of that as a small business, it's like people can say that we're going to do some digital transformation, but what does that actually mean? And so with TrulyFIT, we've really tried to kind of break down so people can literally see it. We put it out there, saying here's your score here. These are the things that kind of speak to all those challenges you have. We're going to go through these things like that, so people know what that roadmap looks like. A bit like if you're doing, I know we kind of keep linking it back to fitness, but a bit like if you want to run a marathon, you've got an achievement that you want to do. Yeah, maybe it's 10K, it's a whatever. You've got your goal, the thing you want to achieve, and it's like, right, here's the plan to get you there. It's not overnight.
No,
we're going to go tearing out for a 2-hour marathon. It's like, cool, we're going to start here. We'll start building that up and building it up, and you'll have a plan to get you to achieve those goals. And it's very, very similar in the sense of, look, we listen, we understand where a business wants to go, and they might want to have, dashboarding, reporting across their organisation, but they've got nothing at the moment. That's a great goal to have. That's not going to happen overnight. Yeah, like I've never ever done like a reporting session where people even know what they want day one. Like it happens as like it is iterative to a degree, and so we can help build them.
Do you think that's even more important, like kind of in the time we live in right now? It just feels like with AI, like the pace at which tech is just like increasing in quality really and opportunity, but being overwhelmed. I mean, even for people who aren't running businesses, it's like, where do I start here? Like and things like regulations on that, like there's all of this stuff is being sort of like built. How it's being built as the machine is kind of being built. Do you think that also having that support partner, that trainer there to not necessarily like hold your hand, but be there as well from a
absolutely.
like support as well.
And also probably the thing to say there is, as things improve, everyone who listens to this has had this experience of where you sort of feel like you're not using all of what you have, and as technology improves, more features get released. So often when people adopt technology, you sort of adopt it once, and so you have what you have, and then you have that for X years, basically, rather than necessarily taking advantage of all the new things, new features come out. And so, like, that's why, again, it's so useful to be, and we have, like, you can repeat workouts for different teams, but having someone who's going to be supporting you there, and it's actually making the most of what's available, is a massive part of it, because you say technology is changing, but if you only just kind of do it once and then like don't touch it for a while, like that, it's super common. That, by the way, like so having someone there who's letting you know those things, helping you out, and most importantly, like finding value with them. Like I'm not going to use them just for the sake of it. It's like it's got to find value. And I suppose one of the things I haven't sort of said today is just to be like super clear. It's not just a sort of one-way information stream on any of the stuff we're talking about there. It is, we're working with those teams, with those businesses on the things that are specific to them, in their context, relevant to them. It's a workshop. It's not a one-way training session, where you just listen and that's it. That's just not it. We are working with businesses to help them achieve value.
Well, and also, I mean, from my experience as well, in as technology and AI has made it where everyone can write quite easily and quickly now, and really we are like the human side of being human seems to be like really more appreciated, and something that I think as society we can really kind of spend more time kind of bringing into our lives, right?
Yeah,
so how do you, like, because I know here at Truly, you know, we are a people business despite being a tech business. Do you think that's quite key in making this model successful, because no one else is doing this stuff?
We wanted to make it like easy to understand, easy for people to get involved with, you know, which is why we sort of, you know, packaged it like we have done. So it's just, pricing's easy to understand, you know, what you're going to get is easy to understand. But it's deliberately not it's not self-serve stuff, you know, because I'm sure everybody has experienced, you know, self-serve training in terms of from an adoption point of view, again, also has its challenges, you know. We want to spend as much time working with the business directly, and like you say, using our skills and experience to help, you know, give the best advice, guidance, you know, support, plus all the stuff we've just talked about in terms of sort of holding people to account a little bit, to making sure that we have actually tried that. Because A is a great, you know, case in point. When you first start some of those sessions, you're sure there's some things you can kind of say, oh, these are useful for most people. But the most interesting stuff is all the unknown use cases that come out of it. And when you come back and you talk and, oh, I tried it with this, and that would be a great use case. And those are often the things that then get turned into agents, yeah? And then it's like, oh, now the whole team has the ability to do X task, you know. And so that's always like super interesting part of that. You know?
When you're speaking to some of our newer customers and you're going through that initial process of finding out, you know, where they want support, how we're going to help and what the strategy is, what are you seeing at the moment as being like common themes in terms of your kind of investigation so far?
Sure. No, that is what I've you know, been lucky enough to spend a lot of time with, you know, probably hundreds of businesses, you know, over my career, which is nice. That's some of the value that you can help bring, you know, to a business where maybe that person, that's all they've known, you know, for a while, you know, or for a period of time. So you can kind of be like, this is actually what's happening elsewhere, you know, and I understand you're trying to do that. Have you thought about this? You know, I think this works quite well, you know, would work quite well for you. But to answer your actual question about like, what am I seeing? Common themes, AI obviously comes up, and that might be a catalyst for some of the conversation, definitely. But sort of when you dig into it, sort of beneath that, it's kind of process automation. Now the answer to that's not always AI, by the way. You know, like, let's just be like clear with that. AI is not the answer to absolutely everything. Yeah,
and I bet sometimes that's you have to sort of, because everyone's like AI.
Yeah, can just
actually no. There's other
absolutely
that can just be part of
exactly sure. Yeah. So process automation, sort of optimizing process is definitely there, and so some of that might be, you know, integrations, so using things like Power Automate and stuff, really, really useful, but also definitely reporting, KPIs, dashboards. That's a big one for almost everybody, I would say. And things like Power BI, obviously super useful for that. Maybe we'll do another conversation around thoughts on where that's going to go, because I think that's going to be a major part of what the next sort of 6-12 months, how people connect their data. And with the stuff that Microsoft's doing, your data doesn't all have to sit in Microsoft, by the way, you know, in the sense that you can be different apps, you can use data flows to bring data in, and you can store it, something like a data lake, you know, we can get onto Fabric and all the other things there. But I think businesses that have connected data, and then you can use that for reporting, but also you'll then be able to use it for some of the more advanced AI scenarios. And that's where we will get to, because people will be like, I'm comfortable with using this individually. I've now got agents doing stuff for teams. Like, what else can I do with this? You know, we'll start to see people pushing it further. And
it basically kind of like you're building you're building the foundations, aren't you, the house, and you're getting the floors in, you're getting the beams out, and then suddenly, then your customer's like, oh wow, we're living in this house now. It's actually we're kind of enjoying the life here, saving a bit of money. Then it's like, right, how do we turn this into a Grand Designs 5 million? You can tell why I'm not doing the analogies.
No, it's good. It's good. No, absolutely. That definitely is like that sort of. We'll definitely see more of that. But there's, even in the short term, the desire for people to have better reporting, KPIs, dashboards is up there, along with, like I say, AI is definitely sort of catalyst for conversation as people want to understand where they could potentially use it. I think that the kind of challenge we have a little bit sometimes is just kind of they're unsure about necessarily like where it would be used, but kind of feel like I should be trying to find out where I can use it. We don't have the immediate answers to say, yes, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. There's obviously some quick wins, but that's why it's so impactful having like something like doing a Copilot induction to get started with Copilot if you've never done it, or Copilot Agents workshops. So both these things obviously are part of TrulyFIT. Doing those workouts, you uncover, like, it's, even if you've got some preconceptions about things that you might want to do, almost all the time, the most valuable ones are the ones when you're actually talking to the team who are using it, and you discover, oh wow, like, oh, this takes that long, or oh, that was a great use case. Oh yeah, that would have taken me days. Amanda, she had some great ones, for that, So there's that stuff. Like I said, it's exciting, but also for the business, it's it's difficult because not everyone knows what they want to do with AI, but it's like, it's sort of part of the process to help. You're kind of having
discover. To unravel their like initial preconception of
a little bit,
AI and
a little bit,
and that takes a certain personality type from your from you and your team process, to be able to kind of, okay, right, we hear you here, but let's just take a few steps back to
And I think one of the things I would say, that I sort of haven't mentioned today, is, look, sometimes you will then maybe want to go deeper with a particular solution, or maybe that's an agent or something, so you want to build that out. And so it might be a project or something at that time, So outside of TrulyFIT, it's like, no, we want to do this thing, and we'll obviously do a scope and give a fixed, sort of fixed cost approach for that. But the thing I'll just say about that is, you're so much closer and so much more confident in the return on investment you get from it, because it's like you've done some of those things before, or you've used the agent to do X, Y, and Z, but now you just want to be able to actually do the integration and perform an action in this other system, and so that's the bit, So usually the investment's smaller for that project, but also you're just so much more confident because you've actually got part of those bits already done, and you're just saying, this is the gap I want to fill. Whereas when you're just faced with that at the start, and so some others might sort of pitch the big project of being like, this is the big AI project. It's really tough, especially for small businesses. I had some people saying, they were quoted sort of 70,000 quid, for which would be like what, $90,000, something like that, for a sales quoting, tool. And you think, I mean, for a small business, that is like, are we going to see the return on that investment? Is that the right thing? So I'm going to say this, but something like TrulyFIT, where you kind of get a taste of it. You can do, you can do more than that. Obviously, get some real value, so short-term value, but you can also go down that track into the building proof of concept on maybe a bigger thing, that you want to try and achieve. And now you're confident that actually this is going to work. We might need to add some polish and, the final bit, investment smaller, but you're just way more confident that that's the right thing for the business. And that's what I really like. And because it is, I completely appreciate for small businesses, around tech, especially now with all the new stuff coming out, you're like, kind of unsure whether that's...
Where do I start? And probably that kind of pressure of, I know this business is doing this, and like,
sure.
I've read this on the news. I need to have heard about this new this app or whatever. I mean, it seems to me like you do enjoy your job. I mean, I
I
can,
do. It's
I
great.
can't,
Lucky to do it. Yeah.
I think it would be wrong of me at least not to ask the Chief Technology Officer what your thoughts are of kind of the future of AI, I guess. Are you optimistic that we will have the tools and the ability to make this world a better place? Are you worried in terms of the
It's weird. I've definitely
AI?
sort of split slightly personal and professional. Like the personal side of me feels a little bit like I want to go live in a cabin in the woods, type of thing. Get back to nature.
Well, whatever you, I mean, whatever you think.
But at work, obviously seeing the benefits like it has, it's hard to ignore. Obviously, which is why I obviously want to help small businesses understand and make use of what's available. In terms of the future of it, I think sort of how that will show up, particularly for small businesses. I think most people are starting to get used to, like most people have done prompting, most people have used it, personal life. So some of that stuff will start to be, there's less of that awareness piece is going to be required. I think it will start moving up into agents. Absolutely, you've probably heard a lot about that, but where you can give specific instructions and make that AI agent like a team member. I know that feels weird to say, like I feel weird saying it, but if you think about the agent like a team member, that's definitely where it's going to go. And you'll, just like a team member, you would give them some level of onboarding, you would train them and give them some instructions.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
You don't think about that.
You don't, but honestly. That is...
Hey, here's the company rucksack.
It is literally, it's like, this is a bit about us, this is it. This is
learning
kind of
the culture of the company as well in the same way when you would be
the
on
whole
board.
bit. Yeah, honestly. And you'd say, these are the things you want to do. You'd give them some responsibilities. I would like you to do this and this, whatever. But equally, think about it in that way. When you get a response back, we're so used to thinking about tech of like, oh, that's wrong. Like, oh, this is wrong. I'm like, why has it done that? But you probably wouldn't say it to a person in that sense. Like if someone gave you a first draft of, the PR comms or something you were doing, you'd be like, I see what you've said. I didn't tell you this, but could you change that a little bit? Or it's a bit long, so could we make that a bit shorter? That's what you would do to a human, yeah? You wouldn't be like, completely wrong, I'm not giving you another chance, yeah? You'd give it some feedback, you give them some feedback, and then you'd be like, okay, yeah, that's more like it.
Well, plus, and if the robots do end up taking over the world, they'll look back at those people and say, well, they were
kind to me.
They were, yeah, keep him. Listen, it's been such a great chat today, and
it's been good fun.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining. See, I said it wouldn't be that hard.
No, it's all good.
Well, we could totally keep talking for another half an hour, but if you're a small business owner and you've been intrigued by some of the conversation today, then please do head over to our website, TrulySMB.com. But otherwise, I think that's all from us today. Yeah, make sure you like, subscribe to our social channels, and stay tuned for another episode very soon of Truly Unplugged.